In this episode, we're going to be restoring this vintage Yale lift truck from the 1950s. I couldn't find a colour code, I couldn't find any others for sale online, I couldn't find any photos of this online, and I think these things have become extremely rare, so if you do happen to have one, it might be worth saving it. Firstly, we need to dismantle it completely. Eventually, we got everything apart. We could now start to remove the almost 70 years of dirt. Once everything was clean, we stripped all of the old orange paint off using Sin Strip paint stripper. After a lot of paint stripper, all that was left was a little bit of paint and a lot of rust. That was dealt with on the bench grinder's wire wheel and the large rotary tool. Everything was then masked and hung up, ready for etch primer. Etch primer is the one that etches into the metal and prevents rusting. Once the first layer of wet on wet primer was added, I could more easily see what was going on. I went back over all of the pieces and removed any casting imperfections with the rotary tool stone bits, and filled any large dents or scratches with filler. Nearly all of the parts on this truck needed to be painted. We gave each piece 2 coats of etch primer, wet on wet primer, orange base coat and clear coat. I couldn't find the colour code for this truck, so I mixed up some red and yellow until I was happy. Another thing on the list of things to do was replace the logos on the side. I decided to go with stickers I made in Photoshop. I've just bought a copy of Adobe Illustrator to work in vectors in the future. This plaque was annoyingly thin, and so was the embossing. I added new paint and tried removing it with sandpaper and the rotary tool, but it was just too flush. I ended up polishing it without any paint on it. This will do for now, but I'm in talks with the company about making a new plaque. To keep the non-painted parts from rusting, I zinc plated them and then passivated them in a blue-silver solution. After letting that dry for 2 days, it was ready to reassemble. The paint was still a little fresh, so I used a blanket just to make sure I didn't chip it. Reassembly was pretty much the opposite of disassembly, just without the hours of heating and whacking things. Now I try not to use the video footage I have of the disassembly to reassemble these projects, just for good practice. But sometimes I'm very grateful I have it, as I just have no idea what's going on. All of the nuts and bolts on this truck are Imperial. Some of them I had and some of them I didn't, so I had to improvise here and there. With the handle back on, only the plaque and the stickers were left. And there we have it, all back together again and working as it should. I wonder if Yale would be interested in this thing. I think it would look good in a museum or something like that.
But there we go. Thanks for watching, and I hope to see you in the next one.